Have you watched The Rings of Power yet?
No, I'm putting it off.
I don't blame you.
It just looks so insufferable. And as like a Tolkien fan, as in read the books, watched the films so many times, I can't bear to see something I love be destroyed by wokeness.
Well, I tell you what, right? If you do watch it, you will find actually it's not as woke as you'd think, right? The problem with Rings of Power is it's really, really boring. It's just really dull.
They're just trying to play it safe. They spent all this money and they don't want anything too controversial.
It's not convincing at all. It's just
the dialogue.
Trying to articulate a really sophisticated play, but it's not even there.
I know, but they can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, sorry?
They can't hear what you're saying.
Oh.
But you, as John's trying to point out, they're trying to make the dialogue really sophisticated, but it's just not. And the whole thing has this really bizarre kind of atmosphere. Like when you're watching Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, right? It's easy to get sucked into the story because there's an important story being told, right? There's something big is happening. These are small people getting involved in big affairs, and it becomes suitably dramatic throughout the whole thing. But the Amazon Rings of Power just doesn't have the same feel about it, right? It's completely wrong. And so like the people playing the elves feel like actors on a stage trying to play elves with, like, they're trying to be hoity-toity about it and stuff like that. So it just doesn't feel right, right?
I have seen extracts of some of the dialogue and it seems like some sort of petty melodrama more than something that's Tolkien-esque.
Yes, it doesn't have the gravitas and the majesty or the quality of the actors. And it like the diversity of it, like, the obvious woke messaging of it, it just completely falls aside because it's not that bad, to be honest. It's more that the story itself is crap. And that's why Amazon is coping hard over this, right? That's why you're a racist, actually, right? Because they wrote a terrible story and it was really badly put across. So I watched the first 2 episodes and they were crap, right? And so Amazon decided, we're going to read this article about how to alienate your diehard fan base, which was on Lotus.com. And I was like, wow, that's a bold move because I don't know why they'd want to do that. But as Selvir here has pointed out, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is timeless, but Amazon's Rings of Power is literally just going to be forgotten once this new cycle is passed, because there is just nothing to the Rings of Power that has, again, the same emotive weight that Lord of the Rings actually has, because they just don't understand that, like, Galadriel being a girl boss who single-handedly slays trolls, that's not like a meaningful story to most people. There's
also the suspension of disbelief element. I saw it in the trailer. She was climbing up an ice wall wearing full plate armor, holding on with a dagger. I mean, come on.
I mean, okay, you can maybe argue, well, she's an elf. It's elf armor, so it's really light, maybe, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. But, like, they're marching through the snow trying to find, like, Sauron's fortress. And one of them falls down, and she's like, leave him behind. It's like, he's literally there. Like, it's literally, like, 5 feet. It's like, yeah, you're just walking along this flat ground. You don't have to actually leave this guy behind. But anyway, the point is, I don't even care. Like, the story is just nonsensical. Like, at one point she's going to the Isle of the Blessed or whatever it is, and she's like, we've sailed across what is essentially the Atlantic Ocean to go to this island. And it's like, no, I'm just going to just jump into the water and swim home. It's like, you're in the middle of an ocean? Like, it's like, but apparently she swims home, and so you get these really stupid things. But the problem is the entire story, because it's trying to build up and be important and impactful in the way that Lord of the Rings was, it's like trying to slowly build. But there's no emotional grip or grasp on it. And so it's just really boring. And you're just like, come on, have something happen, come on. And then when the thing happens, it's kind of stupid. And it's just like, oh, great, okay. Next thing. And none of the characters are particularly likable or interesting. And it's just embarrassing, actually.
Is it one of those sorts of shows where it's just a series of things that happen and it almost seems like they're split into individual set pieces?
No, I wouldn't describe it like that, because it's not that there isn't a story being told. It's just it's a daytime television story.
Okay.
And so it's not that the story isn't coherent. It's just boring. And so Amazon is coping hard about this, right? So the first thing is they came out and like, look, we huge viewership for this, everyone loved this. And I've seen like multiple numbers go around, but as Screen Rant point out, Amazon have come out and said, well, we had 25 million viewers in the first 24 hours of the release. I was like, maybe, I mean, who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I can't verify that. So you could have pulled out any number from your rear ends, but apparently it broke all previous records. It's the biggest success ever. It's like, okay, maybe it is. Why doesn't that seem to be reflected anywhere other than Amazon's official propaganda, though?
Well, there are many reasons for that.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, you can see it's a 39% audience score. Not good. Not good. If so many people watch this and they were so well loved, not great. I see they did pay off the critics, though, so that's good. But even then, 85%. Like, there were a bunch of early reviews of this, and they're like, this is crap. This is boring. This is not interesting in any way. And notice that that's been the general attitude towards, I mean, literally everyone I've spoken to. So if you watch this, like, can't be bothered. Just not interested in it, really. And so Amazon were like, oh, look at all the racists online review bombing us. How dare you come and review?
They're so racist, calling it boring.
Yeah.
That's such a racist thing to say.
Yes, that's the majority response has been, this has just been boring, right? And so Amazon decided to suspend reviews, saying, no, we're being review bombed over this. Like, look, let's say 25 million people did watch this on day one. A significant percentage of those were like, this is crap. I'm going to go leave a review, right? So it might not actually be a review bomb. It might actually be that you just disappointed millions of people.
Well, it's a beloved franchise, and if you butcher it like they seem to have done, people are going to be understandably angry. I don't write reviews or anything, but if I actually wanted to watch this and did watch it and was furious, I would definitely write a scathing review about it.
The thing is, if it was being butchered, right, it would actually be interesting to watch, right? So I watched like the She-Hulk series, and I wasn't bored because I was like, oh my God, look at this nonsense, right? And it was amusing how bad it was, right? And so I wasn't bored. I was actively engaged with the material, but this was just not that interesting. Like, it wasn't even butchered. It was just really crap. And I was just like, right, I'm just not going to bother. And so anyway, Amazon decided that they were going to, on IMDb, which Amazon owns, incidentally, they were going to just stop reviews. And they were going to put like a 72-hour suspension on it.
That's unprecedented, isn't it?
Yes. And it's because obviously they're getting owned in the comments because people, I mean, they give one review here. Nobody has a problem with seeing people of color in movies or series of stories, but this story was already written and should not have been sullied, one reviewer wrote.
Perfectly reasonable to me.
Perfectly reasonable. But even then, like, okay, that means the racism is attacking us. That's what it is. Oh, you're all just racists. You're all just racist. Review bombing racists with the target of an evil racist campaign online. It's like, yeah, okay, that's it, Amazon.
It's going to get to the point where criticising Amazon's working conditions for their employees is labelled racism at this point.
Yes. They yesterday put out this statement, which I just think is hilarious. And I just love the idea, right, that we're going to be lectured by Amazon. But literally, we're going to put you in cages and give you, like, bottles to piss in, But we're going to lecture you on being a racist, right? So they say this: we, the cast of Rings of Power, stand together in absolute solidarity against the relentless racism, threats, harassment, and abuse of some of our castmates of colour are being subjected to on a daily basis. So, right. So you're going to literally stand there and use them as a human shield. Hey, you're black. Get in front of me. There's a bunch of criticism coming my way. I want you to absorb it, black guy. Like, unbelievable, right? Go to the next one. We refuse to ignore it or tolerate it. Oh, you're so heroic. You're so heroic. Thank God that you're allowing these black people to fall on your sword. Like, Tolkien created a world which, by definition, is multicultural.
By definition. So they've got to weasel in a technicality.
Yes. A world in which free peoples from different races and cultures join together in fellowship to defeat the forces of evil. The Rings of Power reflects that. Our world has never been an all-white. Fantasy has never been all white. It's like, what are you talking about? Are you literally going on like the Daily Stormer and being like, right, that's their criticism, right? We're going to respond to that.
Never mind the fact that in the original trilogy of The Lord of the Rings, the people of colour side with Sauron.
Yes. But and interestingly, right, now, one of the things I actually liked about this is the way they transition from place to place, right? Mm-hmm. They have like a map with the place names on it, and they're like, they glide across the map, it fades into the place name, and so you know where you are, right? And that's actually quite a good device to show you where you're moving around the world. Now, the places that Sauron controlled, right, in the Third Age are not controlled by Sauron in the Second Age, right? And so these are the places with the people of color, like, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but So it goes over, zooms in, and we see a village entirely of white people, and the black elf turns up, and it's like, this is where you could have literally from the lore, the canon, you could have the village of people of color, and everyone would be like, okay, well, that's how Tolkien wrote it. So what's the problem? But no, they're like, yeah, so these guys have got to be white. It's like, what?
Because they're in the bad man's land. That's why.
Exactly. But they're not the bad man's land. So it's like, you know, but it's just so ridiculous, right? But anyway, Middle-earth is not all white. BIPOC belong in Middle-earth and they're here to stay. What the hell? A BIPOC? Is people of colour. What's bi? I can't remember offhand.
It's something black, indigenous, people of colour.
Right, yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. So they belong in Middle-earth and they're here to stay, except for in the places where they actually belong, where we're going to erase them and replace them with white people. Okay, brilliant. Good job. Finally, all our love and fellowship go out to the fans supporting us, especially fans of colour. Yeah, see, the black ones. The fans of colour are more important than the white fans. Good that they've got a racial hierarchy going on at Amazon's Lord of the Rings. So, it's so strange. I wouldn't have drawn that distinction, but they did, right? But again, it's not even the actors now. Now it's the fans of colour are being attacked by the racists online, say Amazon, right? The fans of colour who themselves are being attacked simply for existing in this fandom.
I hate it when they say, for simply existing. No, it's not that.
But nobody's attacking, like, black Lord of the Rings fans. No one, what are you talking about? This is such a massive cope. Because, like, millions of people are like, you've screwed up Lord of the Rings. You've really screwed this up. This isn't what we want. Like, you're a racist. It's like, no, you're just terrible storytellers. It's like, oh no, you're just not just a racist towards us, you're racist towards all the people who liked it. Oh my god, super racism. It's like, shut up. But look at this. Your cosplays, fan cams, fan art, and insights make this community a richer place and remind us of our purpose. You are valid, you are loved, and you belong. You're an integral part of the Lord of the Rings family. Thanks for having our backs. It's like, please come to our defense, because we have nothing. Absolutely nothing, right? Then you get like cringe replies. Other franchises that have been colonized by wokeness are like, yeah, well, from a Middle-earth to a galaxy far, far away, you're all welcome here. I'll just do one. Absolutely do one. Right? And then they've got to conscript in the cast of the Lord of the Rings films, the good Lord of the Rings films. If you go to the next one, like, look at this. Just look at this. The hobbits wearing, you're all welcome here shirts with like multicolored, like elfin hobbit ears. It's like, oh, just...
Apparently Sean Astin doesn't support this.
I can believe
He's not there.
Well, yeah, in fact, yeah, where's Sam? But what an embarrassment. What an obvious goddamn embarrassment this is. Like, Elijah Wood looks like he's about to cry, which I don't blame him. But anyway, yeah, so basically you're all bad, says Mega Corporation number 26, which, I mean, I take that very seriously. Rings of power, calls out racism, right? It's like the racially charged harassment mimics similar 2022-ish incidents of abuse targeting talent of color cast in sci-fi roles, including Moses Ingram in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Leigh Jeffries in the Percy Jackson series. So this is a massive defense mechanism against your outrage for them bastardizing the things you love. The mega corporation is going to lecture you for holding opinions of your own while they expect you to give them your money. Like, this is not how this works, Amazon.
Insufferable.
Like, it's unbelievable. And then you get like people like posting a good point. That's right. Defend my art project against the critics. I mean, racist. Just Bezos, probably. Yeah. It's like, look, one of the richest men in the world. And you're like, yeah, no, diving in front of, don't criticize this, you racist. And then you get like, we'll end on this amazing idiot take. Let's just play this clip. This is just incredible.
There's been a whole lot of discourse about how the new Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series doesn't exactly live up to the expectations and what Tolkien had in his mind. And I say good, because I don't know about you guys, but I really don't want the worldview of someone who was born in the late 1800s to be what dictates what I watch on TV in the year of our Lord 2022. When you do adaptations of people's worlds, that's what they are there for. Adaptations. You fill in the holes and racist bigotry that they had when they wrote the stuff in the 1950s. I mean, Tolkien was working on these books at a time when black people weren't allowed in the same establishments as white people in the United States because of segregation.
important to him
And
in
I don't
Britain.
want society to go back to then, and I sure as hell don't want our creative output to go back to the ideas of that time. I mean, hell, Tolkien taught at Oxford University, a place that is so blatantly racist that R.F. Kong had to write an entire book about it. Go check out Babel. So fuck what Tolkien would have wanted or what he thought of The Lord of the Rings and Middle-earth. It's ours now. We're making it. We're going to make it reflect real life, not his white power fantasy that he wrote about.
Right, great. So this is the authentic voice of the progressive. We own it. We're going to make it reflect real life. Enjoy your Lord of the Rings. It's over.
So apparently modernity is just blanketly better than before.
Yeah.
As well. That assertion's unforgivable.
Tolkien was writing in a previous era, don't you know? And therefore he must be bad, and therefore what we do now must be good, and therefore screw Lord of the Rings.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the Epoch series, this one on the Anglo-Saxon Game of Thrones. You want to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.